James, the brother of Jesus, is one of the most intriguing figures in the New Testament. He was not one of the original 12 apostles, however, he became a key leader in the early Christian church. His journey from skepticism to faith, his role in guiding the early believers, and his tragic martyrdom make his life a compelling story of transformation, devotion, and courage. James was one of several siblings of Jesus Christ. The Gospels mention Jesus' brothers, including James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. While some Christian traditions hold that these were Jesus' cousins or stepbrothers, the most straightforward reading of the text suggests that James was the biological son of Mary and Joseph, making him Jesus' younger brother. Despite growing up with Jesus, James did not initially believe in his divine mission. The Gospel of John states that Jesus' brothers did not believe in him, John 7 verse 5. This skepticism is understandable. It must have been difficult to accept that a member of one's own family was the Messiah. James, like the rest of Jesus' siblings, likely struggled with the radical nature of Jesus' teachings and the extraordinary claims he made about himself. Something changed dramatically in James' heart. The key turning point seems to have been Jesus' resurrection. In 1 Corinthians 15 verse 7, Paul writes that Jesus appeared to James after his resurrection. This personal encounter must have been profound. Seeing the risen Christ transformed James from a skeptic into one of the most devoted followers of Jesus. After his conversion, James quickly rose to prominence in the early church. By the time of the events in the book of Acts, he had become a leader among the believers in Jerusalem. His wisdom, faith, and deep knowledge of Jewish law made him a respected figure among Jewish Christians. James played a crucial role in shaping the early church, especially among Jewish believers. He was a key figure in the Jerusalem Council, Acts 15, where he helped settle the debate over whether Gentile converts needed to follow the Mosaic law. With great wisdom and diplomacy, James proposed a solution that affirmed salvation through faith in Jesus while also respecting Jewish customs. His leadership helped unite Jewish and Gentile believers in the growing Christian movement. James was also known for his deep devotion to prayer. He was called James the Just because of his righteousness and commitment to God's laws. Early Christian writings describe him as a man who prayed so often that his knees became as hard as a camel's from kneeling in prayer. His deep faith made him a moral and spiritual authority in the church. James is traditionally believed to be the author of the Epistle of James in the New Testament. This letter is filled with practical wisdom and calls for believers to live out their faith through good works. James emphasized the importance of patience, humility, and caring for the poor. He famously wrote, "Faith without works is dead," James 2 verse 26, highlighting that true faith produces righteous living. The Epistle of James also encourages believers to persevere through trials, control their tongues, and seek God's wisdom. It remains one of the most practical and challenging books of the New Testament, offering guidance for Christians in all generations. James' commitment to Christ eventually led to his death. According to early church historian Hegesippus and the Jewish historian Josephus, James was martyred around 62 AD. He was a well-respected leader in Jerusalem, but his growing influence among Jewish Christians made him a target of the religious authorities. Jewish leaders, angered by James' teachings about Jesus, demanded that he renounce his faith. According to tradition, they brought him to the pinnacle of the temple and ordered him to deny that Jesus was the Messiah. Instead of denying Christ, James boldly declared his faith in Jesus before the crowd. Furious at his defiance, the authorities threw him from the temple. However, the fall did not kill him. As he lay injured, he continued to pray for his attackers, echoing Jesus' words on the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." His enemies, unwilling to let him live, then stoned him and finally killed him by striking his head with a club. James died as a faithful witness to Christ, refusing to compromise his beliefs even in the face of death. His martyrdom cemented his legacy as a courageous and righteous leader in the early church. James' influence did not end with his death. His leadership helped lay the foundation for the Christian church, particularly among Jewish believers. His epistle continues to challenge and encourage Christians worldwide, urging them to live out their faith with integrity and love. His life is a powerful testimony of transformation, from skepticism to unwavering faith. His journey reminds us that encountering Jesus can change even the hardest of hearts and that true faith is demonstrated through action. James, the brother of Jesus, remains a model of wisdom, perseverance, and righteousness for all believers.